Welcome to About New Haven. My name is Frank Logue. I'm the host of the program. And today we're going to consider and talk about some of the ethnic communities in New Haven. In the first half hour, about Irish Americans in New Haven and vicinity, and the second half hour, Polish Americans. My guests for the first half hour are Jane McGuire. Jane, welcome.
Hi, Frank.
And also Neil Hogan. Neil, welcome to you.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the Irish American community, and both of these folks are very active in it, and instead of me describing the way they are, I'll ask them to do it. So, Jane, we'll start with you. First of all, you're an Irish American in the true sense of the word, right? You were born in Ireland.
Born in Ireland, became an American citizen, and here I am.
When did you come here to this country?
Oh, gosh, 1958. And I guess I arrived in New York and went into New Jersey for a little while, and a little while was about 8 weeks, and came up to New Haven to visit a friend and discovered I had several friends here, and made a phone call back to my uncle, who has never forgiven me for it, and said, I'm not coming back anymore, I'm staying in New Haven, and I love it.
And now you're the president of the Irish American Community Center.
Yeah, somehow I got talked into that. Going back a little bit, I worked for the telephone company here in New Haven for approximately 27 years and loved it, but with all the companies becoming cost effective and cutting back, I was one who saw some writing that said, well, Jane, this is a time to make a move, and so take early retirement. It looked good, sounded good. And that's what I did back in December. And about that time, the Gaelic Club and the Irish American Community Center were having their convention, their annual, each year we have an annual convention, and we nominate individuals from the floor.
I said Jane is retired?
Executive. So Jane, since Jane is retired, somebody decided, well, here's a good candidate, we're going to give her this job. And so I declined it first, and 4 or 5 of my dearest friends, I won't mention their names now, were in my back punching me, take it, do it. So anyway, I was nominated for the president of the Irish American Community Center, and nominated and approved unanimously. And so now I am 3 months in office, and thought it would be a glorious, wonderful, easy job. You don't do anything, but I've discovered since then that there's a lot of work and a lot of meetings and a lot of everything, and also discovered that we have a lot of great things going on within our club and throughout the area and throughout our community.
And also the phone company called you up, did they not?
Well, yeah. I kept in touch with the phone company, and because of our bad winter and the snow, I guess, we hadn't gone out to dinner, because it's customary to take each individual who leaves out to supper, and you celebrate. And so the girls would call me and update me on what was happening in the office, and one day I got a call and said, Jane, I hear they're hiring people back, so come on back. And that meant I had to fill out a job bank, they call it, application. And I said, gee, I haven't done that, so let me go do that first and see what happens. And the job bank application got filled out, and a couple of days later I got a call and landed back my old job 2 days a week, which is very nice.
So now you're still president of the
Gaelic
Irish American Community Center, and
yes.
You're still working, and you're back at work at the phone company.
Both
I'm going to return and ask you some more about Irish American activities in New Haven, but let me turn to Neil and say, Neil, where do you hail from?
Well, I'm just the opposite of Jane. I'm about 150 years over from Ireland. My great-grandparents came over at the time of the famine, and they sailed to Quebec and went down the St. Lawrence River to Rochester, New York, and a little farming village outside Rochester. And I came down here to the New Haven area 30-some years ago to work for the Knights of Columbus, and I ended up working for the New Haven Register and getting involved with the Irish community here, and I guess this is where I'll spend the rest of my days here.
Okay, and you wrote this book called The Wearing of the Green?
Right, that 2 years ago was the 150th anniversary of the first St. Patrick's Day observance in New Haven, first public observance, and we thought it was a good time. We and the Connecticut Irish American Historical Society, which I'm involved in, thought it was a good time to sort of summarize that 150 years of all the St. Patrick's Day observances, so we published that book.
I'm familiar with those parades.
Yes, I'm sure you are, right? Down through
I've
the
worn
years.
the top hat and the sash and,
Right.
and all of that. And that I must say that was a lot of fun. And presently you're employed at the Register?
At the Register, right. I work in the editorial office at the Register.
Okay. Now I want us to talk about the kind of events that the Irish American community is involved in. I'll just mention there's the St. Patrick's Day Parade, which we can talk about. There's the Fesh.
The Fesh, which is coming up next month, June.
Well, people know what the St. Patrick's Day
25th,
Parade is. Tell us
26th.
first tell us how to spell it, and then tell us what that is.
The Fesh,
Right.
you mean. The Fesh is F-E, spelled F as in Frank, E-I-S. And for some reason we're calling it this year the Connecticut Irish Festival, but we're putting the Fesh in brackets.
Okay.
Please don't ask me to give you the detailed
Okay.
meaning of that. Back in Ireland, when we had a Fesh, it would be one big gathering. We would have a football game, a hurling game. Actually, that's called camogie,
Okay.
and it's spelled C-A-M-O-G-I-E. And we would have a ladies' camogie team and a men's camogie team. And it was really, for the most part, it would be on a Sunday, and it would start with Sunday morning mass, and then it would be a gathering of all the young people, and of course the parents going there to sort of keep a watchful eye, but in the background, what's happening. And it was just a meeting of friends and eating a lot of ice cream and a lot of goodies.
And were there
similar
competitions and dances?
There were,
and things?
yes, there would be competitions, and we'd have tug-of-war. We'd also have the dance competitions. Very similar to what we're trying to do here, which we are doing actually.
Tell us about the dance that they do at the Fesh in New Haven.
The Fesh in New Haven, oh gosh, we have several. All the different Irish step dancing, solos, set dancing, all of the different schools are represented from within the state. And also we get them as far away as Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York. They all come to our festival. And I should be able to tell you how many contestants we have this year, competitors, but I don't know. But we do have a full Sunday afternoon where it's constant Irish dancing competitions.
And the little girls start that, it seems to me, when I've been there, that the smallest little girls that are in that are maybe, what, 4 years old?
I think we've had them as young as 3 years old.
Really?
And they have the traditional Irish costume. And I'm not sure, but I think that is, each school has their own costume.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the costumes are handmade by some very talented ladies. They're very expensive, but the embroidery and everything, it's very detailed work, and they're very beautiful once they're complete. And when you see that young lady or young man on the stage, and boys and girls do the dancing.
And what happens at the Gaelic Club?
The Gaelic Club is responsible for the football playing and the hurling. The Irish American Community Centre is more the cultural and the arts part of it. We also do one play a year. We have a young fellow by the name of Charlie Stars, who's a wonderful director, and he's been directing the plays for 25 some years at our club. And the most recent, he's been doing a lot of Brian Friel's plays. And this year we were very flattered to be able to get the Abbey Players from Dublin to come over. Well, they were at the Long Wharf, and we invited them to the Gaelic Club, or to the American Community Centre. We also were able to go to the Long Wharf and see the play, which was very, very good. Just
very
super
powerful play, called The Faith Healer, as I recall.
Yes. Well, the three, was it Donald Connell, I think was his name.
I can't remember.
The star of that particular play, and his wife and their agent, and some other members of the cast from the Long Wharf came back to our club and talked to all of us informally, and we presented them with a plaque, and they were just delighted, and we got a very nice letter thanking us for our hospitality. And
That's great.
we're hoping that's the beginning of a nice long relationship and friendship. And
Good.
we
Well,
see
Neil,
them
what else
again.
happens in the
Well,
Irish-American community?
I was going to interject something about
Yeah.
the dancing. There's the one kind of dancing which you two were talking about, the little girls and little boys doing very formal step dancing, but there's another kind called set dancing,
Oh, yes, the
which you
group.
mentioned briefly,
Yes.
which is for old folks like me.
Oh, yes.
And we do it every Friday night out there, and it's sort of like square dancing. We have sets of 4 couples in each set, and we do all kinds of very informal, relaxed dancing, and we do a lot of hooping and a lot
Oh,
of
that's great
a lot of
on
singing, and
Friday.
it's a
Yes.
wonderful thing for, like I say, old folks like me. So that's another activity of the club out there.
There's a young woman there, Joan Kennedy, who teaches that Irish
Right.
Irish set dancing.
Set dancing.
And who's responsible for keeping the group and making sure there's a full house.
Is there a
there.
caller the way there is in square dancing?
Well, we try not to. The idea is to get to learn them well enough so you don't have to have a caller. It's sort of a little down thing if you have to have a caller. You're not as good. So
Okay.
sometimes we do when we're learning a new dance, but it's great fun, really wonderful. And, we go out to some of the parishes around the area and give demonstrations, and but there's no competition to it in the way that there is with the step dancing.
Tell us about the parade. You're probably the greatest expert on the New Haven St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Well, I know a little bit about the beginnings of it. Back in 1842 was the first parade, and interestingly, that year they had a speaker. They had their little parade up to the Catholic Church, and they had Mass, and then they had a speaker. He was a fellow from Yale named William Robinson, and he was a Scots-Irishman. And his talk that day was about how Irishmen should forget their sectarian differences and get together and solve all their problems. And every time I see the parade and I think of that first one, I think that's as applicable today as it was back in 1842.
I remember in connection with the St. Patrick's Day Parade, they have over at the Gaelic Club a selection of a person to be the queen of the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And I was invited to do that. And I was very flattered, and I thought, what a wonderful idea. I will get to look at all these lovely young Irish girls, and I will get to pick one of them as a queen, and what could be more fun than that? The day that it happened, I remember going to the club and seeing about 15 young girls and their parents and their friends, and suddenly realizing
All
that
beautiful.
one of them was going to be quite happy at the end of it, and 14 were going to be unhappy. So my advice to anybody out there who's asked to judge a beauty contest, think twice about it, because you're going to disappoint more people than you're going to please.
We did that this year, and it's great. It worked out beautiful, and we chose a beautiful young lady to be the queen, who incidentally, a few years ago, the queens were chosen, and sometimes they went away to school and they didn't come back and be involved in our club. But I noticed this year the young lady who was chosen as queen has already gone through college and graduated and is working, and as a result is coming around our club quite often and is very, very involved and wants to become more involved. And she's really a very super, very great young woman. And
Well, let me ask you both, starting with you, Neil. What would you say about the sort of the status of the Irish-American community in Greater New Haven today?
Well, in connection with what she said, the young person coming back, you know, I'm impressed when I go out to the club. I've not been involved in it for a long time, maybe 5 years, something like that, but I'm impressed with the number of young people, young unmarried people and young couples who come there for various things, whether it be the dancing or there's banquets or there's Irish language lessons on Tuesday nights, I guess it is. Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those.
Yeah.
And there's the Irish American Historical Society. We have a little library there, and we have our meetings there. And I'm just amazed at the number of young people, both immigrants, people who have over recently, and people like myself whose families have been over a long time, who come out there and want to be involved in Irish activities. I just think it's wonderful the way
they
it's
do
going.
a lot of volunteer work, and
What kind? What kinds of things?
anything that's happening around the club. For instance, the festival in June, we have probably 250 volunteers who really have been together at meetings for this whole past year and up until the time that the festival takes place. And on that day, all these people get together and they work as ticket persons, selling programs, serving food, making the food, being judges for the Irish dance competitions.
Tell us.
Everything it's done through volunteer workers. It's great.
Tell us the date and the location of this Irish festival.
This year, we're going to be at the North Haven Fairgrounds. And the reason we're going to be at North Haven is because the Special Olympics are coming in 1995 to the Yale field, and that's where we had our festivals for the past few years. And we loved it there, but because of the Special Olympics, we had to find another place. And so North Haven is what we chose, and we're very fortunate to be able to get it.
What's the date?
June 25th and June 26th, Saturday and a Sunday, starting at 12 noon on Saturday. And then Sunday morning we'll have Mass on the field at 8 o'clock. And we are serving all sorts of ethnic foods. And we have Irish
Tell us
bands.
what these ethnic foods are.
Boxty is one of them. And I like to talk about that because certain parts of Ireland have certain foods, and the Boxty happens to be from the part of Ireland that I come from, which is the west of Ireland, County Leitrim. And basically it's made from your raw potatoes that you grate. It's almost like a potato pancake in one way. And you grate the raw potatoes, and then you drain it through a muslin cloth and get it nice and dry, but you hold on to that water that's drained off and you let it set, and it forms a film or a powdery essence on the bottom of that. All that water comes to the top and all this stuff stays on the bottom, and you put that back into the boxty. You also add flour and you also add mashed potatoes, and you can either boil it or fry it. So hopefully everybody has good hearts and no cholesterol problems, but it tastes wonderful. I'm not sure that it's a very healthy food, but it really does taste wonderful.
There'll be soda
and
bread,
we are serving that.
Bread.
There also will be soda bread, yes.
Brown bread too.
Brown bread.
Which is a little bit different than the soda, but excellent bread too. Sausage.
Irish
sausage.
bacon, Irish sausage, also the black and white pudding. The black pudding, they call it, but it's actually black and white pudding. Very tasty. Still not a dieter's food by any means.
This isn't a health food
But it's
program.
wonderful. It tastes wonderful. It's
Let me
great.
ask both of you this, and are there many contacts between either families, Irish-American families in New Haven and this area, or the organizations and people in Ireland? Is there much of that, or is it mainly just focused on people who are here?
There's certainly much individual contact, even club-wise. Just 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had a dance band and a dance group over from County Leaks, I guess it was.
Oh, a leash.
Leash.
Yes.
And they came over and came specifically to the club here to give us a demonstration and a concert. And afterward, the most amazing thing to me was that they all came out on the floor and danced with us. So it's not like they're performers and we're the audience. It's like we're all together, sort of.
That was the Anne Breen concert. That was very wonderful. She's a fabulous Irish singer from Belfast, Ireland, I think. And she came to us together with Johnny Carl, who is a very good trumpet player. He's literally a one-man show. He's just excellent. And Anne sang for us, and it was half of the time was a concert, and then the other half her band played, and we had some dancing, and that was the point in time, I guess, they came out and mingled with the individuals and the people there and the audience. And that was just excellent. Then 2 weeks earlier, we had the Dublin City Ramblers, who are a wonderful group. And we had the Fury Brothers, who play several instruments, and they were just great. And this all happened around St. Patrick's Day or immediately afterwards. And we have a young fella, Tom Faherty, who was instrumental in bringing all of these groups over here, and he keeps in touch with the individuals in Ireland, and really it's on almost a one-to-one. He knows most of these people personally, and we get them here
There was a group
quite
that,
often, and they're quite good.
a group that played maybe 5 years ago at Wolsey Hall.
Oh,
And
the Chieftains.
the Chieftains, right?
They're
And
excellent.
They had this drum where the drumstick is open on both ends, and the drummer holds the stick sort of in the middle, and he can hit with this end against the drum or with that end against the drum.
They're great. They're wonderful.
And they had a harp, as I recall. It would break your heart.
And
Yeah, very traditional
bodine
music,
or
yeah.
something they call it. It's a little instrument that one of the little guys in that band played. We had them at the, well, no, we didn't. They did come over to the club and visit. Had a glass of Guinness.
The Chieftains?
The Chieftains. The violin player is excellent in that group also. And now I believe one of the fellas does some singing. He did then, but he seems to do more singing now. And
Do you have any sense of the prospects or in the contacts with people here, with people in Ireland? I assume they're mostly with people from the Free State, or are there also contacts with people from the North?
I think quite a few with the North, too.
a great number of, there's a goodly number of members at our club who are actually from Northern Ireland,
People
who were
from
born
Belfast
there.
and so forth.
And they go back and forth home and visit, and they bring their families out here on vacation. And right now we have a young family out here. The vice president of our Irish American Community Centre, John Coolan, and his mom and two sisters are out here. And John is one of, I think it's 11 children. And he's very active in the club. He's also very instrumental in doing the social aspects of the club, meaning getting some of these groups as well as the Tom Fardy young man. And we also bring in live the football games. I forgot to mention
Yes,
that
on
by
television.
satellite. We have the Irish the Irish All Ireland final. We bring that in September, and we're bringing currently in now the soccer games live at the club on Saturdays or Sunday mornings or whenever they're being played. And we have a rugby team, and we're bringing the rugby games. We bring the rugby games into the club on Saturday mornings as well, and that also brings together and brings us closer to home, because sometimes you might just see somebody on television at that football game or that soccer game.
When they have those on Saturdays, they have breakfast, do they? They have a traditional Irish
Sometimes
breakfast?
we do.
and-
Well, we always have Irish bread and coffee.
Yeah.
And for the All Ireland, I believe we serve breakfast, which is nice. And the only cost is just enough to pay for what the satellite dish costs us, or what it costs us to bring that game in. It's a non-profit. We don't make any money on it. We just ask for a donation to break even and get enough money to pay to keep it live.
So you
at
need
the
that
club.
satellite to get the broadcasts of events that are taking
Yes,
place in
yes.
Ireland.
As they're taking place. yeah.
And
So that the Gaelic Club and also the Irish American Community Centre, which are in the same building,
we're jointly.
they promote sort of social and athletic.
and athletic, drama, Irish culture. And we like to think that we are, through the music that we present and through our concerts and through our plays, that we are in fact promoting Irish culture through all of that.
Okay. And what is the mission of the Historical Society, Neil?
Well, we just want to preserve Irish American history here in Connecticut. Really not much has been done on that. You can take this book and maybe a couple of histories of the Archdiocese of Hartford, and that's about all the Irish history that's been written about Irish American people in Connecticut, and they go back a long way, back into the 1600s, really. So we just want to do a little bit more. We don't feel that everything the Irish ever did has to be recorded or anything, but
Some of it better not recorded, perhaps.
that's true, right? But we would like to see a little bit more, a few more books, a few more video programs and so forth about Irish American history in this state.
Is there? You were talking about young people coming to the community center. Do young people, say young married people, today, are they conscious of or aware of their history, Irish Americans?
I think quite so. I think most Irish Americans seem to have a good feeling of the Irish back in Ireland, where they came, what their roots were there, and how they came over and when they came over and under what conditions. I think there's a lot of feeling of preserving that heritage. Yeah.
I sent for a book recently, and it was called, and got it in the mail. It's called The Book of Logues, and it's about Logues all over the world.
Oh, wonderful.
And it turns out, not to my great surprise, that the greatest number of Logues who came over from Ireland settled in Philadelphia, which is where my family did.
That's interesting.
So you can look in that book and find out. I can find out people with my surname wherever they live, really in the world.
That's
which
great.
is that's kind of interesting.
Genealogy seems to be one of the great attractions. We've run some genealogy workshops out at the club, and we'll get 100 people to those. And,
really?
And to some other event, we may only get 25 people, but everybody wants to know
where they came
what their
from.
roots are and where they came from. And at the festival, we have a booth, and one of the things we have is a big map of Ireland with the names of all the people, what counties they came from and everything. Everybody stops by that, and you can see them pointing and looking around to find their own name on there. So that's a big attraction for people.
It's interesting to me that, as you say, young people are interested in that, and when you have an evening on genealogy, large numbers of people come.
Yes.
And I don't know whether significant numbers of people of other origins are currently that interested in their history, but I guess we'll find out in the course of some of these programs that I'll be having.
They are.
They say that genealogy is one of the first or second biggest hobby, I think, in the United States. So I guess that may be true. Everybody's interested in that.
Are your kids interested?
Yes, very much.
Well, I guess with Mom doing what she's doing.
Well, when they were very little, they weren't as interested. They didn't want to do the Irish dancing. Then I found when they were first year at college, all of a sudden, Ma, can you teach me that 1, 2, 3? And so we ended up with the radio on, listening to an Irish program. And it just happened at that time that they were playing some Irish jigs or Irish reel music. And so I said, okay, who wants to learn 1, 2, 3? And off we went. And today you would think they really had actually taken the Irish step dancing. They're fairly good.
Do you have any sense, either of you, you both mentioned that there are people from Northern Ireland who participate in these various events. Any sense that there's any break in the clouds and any possibility of peace finally arriving in Northern Ireland?
I think so soon. I really do. And they are talking over there now.
I think there's movement.
Yeah.
I see the people in London talking to the IRA, and that certainly is the beginning of some kind of movement. You have to talk with people on both sides to solve things like that. And I'm hopeful.
I am too. And basically, I think the young people are more motivated now for peace, whereas years ago it was, you know, take your coat off and I'm going to have a good fight and we're not going to negotiate. But I think now the young people, and personally I think myself, that we do have to talk peace and we do have to negotiate, and we have to vote on things.
Well, I'll tell you, if they can do it in South Africa and if they can do it in the Middle East, maybe we can do it in Ireland. I want to thank both of you for coming here and sharing this information about Irish Americans. Neil,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Jane, I thank you.
Frank, for
it's
inviting
been very
me.
informative and educational for me, and I hope for the folks out there.